Welcome to How to Heal Yourself 101. This is a graph I created to show you how to heal yourself, basically. So, the core concept of the graph is that your behavior, who you are, what you do, is a direct result of all these steps right here, which I'll explain. So, who you are at your core is a result of your repressed trauma. So to explain this, let's say you were, as a kid, your dad only loved you for being masculine or macho, and he would only give you hugs or kisses or affection when you scored 40 points in a basketball game, or when you brought a beautiful girl home, or when you got an A plus. That is your repressed trauma from childhood. That you are only worthy of love if you are a strong macho man. Let's go to the next level. Mental stories. How would having those painful wounds create certain thoughts? So this would mean that when that trigger of the repressed trauma would come up of not feeling enough like a man, mental stories would be created that match those feelings, saying things like, that can't be true. I'm too much of a macho man. For example, if someone called you weak at a bar, this kind of man was called weak at a bar, his mental stories from that trauma would say, fuck that bitch, fuck that pussy. I'm too strong of a guy to have that happen. Fuck that. Those are the mental stories, right? Then go into the perceived reality. So because of those mental stories that man has, when someone calls him weak, he then doesn't believe those things. He calls himself a macho man. The perceived reality would be this person is basically not matching my own perspective that I'm macho, that this person is a threat to my existence. That's a perceived reality. And then, of course, like all macho hotheads would do, the behavior from that would be to get aggressive with the man at the bar or the place or the person that's challenging your identity, which can mean punching them or calling them names and getting aggressive. So the behavior, which in this example, let's call him Tony. So, sorry. So, Tony, Tony's behavior in that bar of wanting to punch someone. That's a behavior no one fucking wants, right? So let's reverse engineer that story. Tony's behavior wanting to punch someone was created by what? A perceived reality. The perceived reality was that this man in front of him was a bitch because he was perceiving him as weak, and you can't have that. That's a perceived reality. What mental stories in Tony's mind created that perceived reality? Let's go here. The mental stories were, I'm a strong man. No one can see me as weak. That, from that level, was what caused the perceived reality of hating this guy, and then what caused the behavior of wanting to punch him, which is the problematic behavior we want to correct. So then, what's beneath the mental stories? As we talked about, the childhood. Tony must have had a childhood where the trauma was that he wasn't loved for being a sensitive, feminine, kind person. He had to be a macho man. So his response to that pain was to create a persona, an identity of a tough guy. So just by using this map, by using this graphic, we can give Tony a blueprint on how to heal. We can go to his behavior and say, hey, Tony, you punching someone at the bar is because you have this repressed trauma from when you were a kid, and your dad only loved you for being a function, for being tough, for being a strong man. You can use this same graph to heal anything, but you have to reverse engineer it. Find the behavior you find problematic, all right? Then go to the perceived reality in your mind that caused that behavior. Then go into what mental stories you were telling yourself at that moment, what thoughts you have at the moment to create that reality that created the behavior. And then from those mental stories, find the repressed trauma. All your answers to all your shit in life is locating this thing right here, your repressed trauma. The pain in your body, the triggers, the sensations that cause the stories, that cause the reality, that cause the behavior. Once you heal this motherfucker right here, all your shit will be fine. For example, I'll go into my story. My poor wound is that from a child, my mom wasn't around as a kid. She was never really home. She's passed away now. I love her deeply. No animosity, but she wasn't there much as a kid. I didn't feel like I was worthy of love. I thought that women didn't love me, that I wasn't worthy of female love. This thing created constant mental stories that I would, any mental stories of, I'm not enough. I'm not worthy of love. No one loves me. This victim bullshit, right? Then whenever I'd meet a girl that I liked, my perceived reality would be that I wasn't worthy of her. And whenever she would be distant or not answer a text or turn me down, I would then get the same triggers I did as a kid that would make me feel abandoned. And so I perceive any reality of a woman liking me or I liked when she was distant as an abandonment wound. I then behave, I either avoid the situation immediately, right? If a girl was triggering the trauma, I would run away. I would be like, I want nothing to do with this girl. Or I would become super anxious. I would like hold on to her. I would try and control her or do things to keep her around to not trigger me. That would all come from my repressed trauma. I eventually, thankfully, healed this wound not by going straight to behavior, right? What modern therapy gets wrong is like just change your behavior. That's what CBT does, is that you cognitive behavioral therapy, that you just kind of change the behavior, right? That if you're scared of something, such as approaching a girl, you just do it enough times and you'll get good at it. Wrong. Because what aren't you doing? First, you're not fixing the perceived reality. So what if you go straight just for the perceived reality? This means that only changing the thoughts in your mind that are causing the issues. That becomes a problem because then you're ignoring the trauma, right? If the trauma is the root of all this shit, you have to start here. You have to fix and heal the pain, the wound, the trauma stored in your body that's causing all this shit. And to get there, as I pointed out, you have to reverse engineer from the behavior. So to summarize this all, if you're dealing with any behavior you find fucked up or annoying or ruining your life, go down to the reality you're perceiving in that moment. What reality are you thinking of in that moment that's causing the behavior? What thoughts did you have before? What stories were you telling yourself that created that reality, then created that behavior? And then, once you're there, find out from that mental story, within that key mental story you have, what was the feeling that caused it the most, right? Like, what feeling in your body is causing that mental story? What trigger is causing that mental story? Find the moment of the trigger. That's the trauma, right? For me, it was going back to moments where I was alone, locked in a house, where I had no idea where my mom was. I didn't know if she ever loved me. Those moments when I was 5, crying my eyes out in my bedroom because no one was home, that is the repressed trauma. That is the feeling, the sensation I had to heal to fix my behavior of being terrible with woman. So, yeah, find the repressed trauma, and everything will go from there. That's how you heal. This is probably the best informational map or graph you're going to be given. This is free for you to heal yourself. You got this. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to watch more content, click this video right here. And please don't forget to subscribe right here. Thank you.